We are.
My other little house, your buddy, no, so.
Everyone, thank you for coming to the June 20th, 2023 meeting of the Human Services Committee. If I could ask for approval of the prior committee meeting, Supervisor Smith, Supervisor Bruno on the second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Privilege of the floor. Any public comment from other supervisors or anyone from the general public? Anything anyone like to do before the meeting? Okay, we'll move on to Department of Social Services. I understand that Amy Byrne is on her way to do her countryside adult home report. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Julie. There is just one request item, I believe, Chris, that, and then we've got a couple of discussion items. If you work us through request number one to appropriate $50,000 from the general fund unappropriated surplus account, please, Chris.
Yeah, sure. We have one action item. It's a request to appropriate, as you said, $50,000 for the general fund, unappropriated surplus money. This money is needed by DSS to pay bills that Warren County has received for kids who were placed in OCFS approved detention homes over the last year. These kids were placed, juveniles, I should say, were placed through the family court while awaiting various court activity.
Motion to bring that to the floor, Supervisor Bruno, Supervisor Frazier on the second. Questions? Supervisor Bruno.
Chris, it says here Warren County was responsible to pay. Not only responsible, we're required to pay.
Absolutely, yeah. If a judge places one of these individuals, we have no control over that. And that's why it's kind of something that wasn't budgeted.
Right.
We do have some in our budget for these kind of things if they're, small, a few days here and there. But this was extended placements for two individuals, maybe three. So and I think we've got the billing for two of them, but not the other one yet. But this will cover, get us through hopefully the year without any surprises. I don't really feel like it would be a very nice thing to have to come back and ask for more money for these type of situations. But unfortunately, it is one of the things that's beyond our control. And Warren County gets the bill and it's got to be paid. So
Thank you.
Anyone else with the question? Supervisor.
Yes. So Chris, what you're telling me basically is that there's no way you really can budget for this. This is just
it's tough to do. We are going to ask for some funding in our 2024 budget to cover these kind of costs, some more money. Hopefully it will be enough. And if it's not enough, we can carry it over to the next year or apply it to other things that might be allowable.
so historical trends that don't help.
Not usually. Occasionally, but there was a time when we had a lot more of these years ago, and there was also funding available for them. The problem is that if a child comes in, a juvenile comes in is not in my care and custody, getting reimbursement for some of these things or full reimbursement is next to impossible. So, and there's other placements that happen that are completely not reimbursable. So we will be budgeting next year a little extra money in our budget for this type of thing. Again, if we don't spend it, we don't spend it, but it'll be there if we need it, and it will just make things more efficient if it happens next year.
Yeah. Do you see this? We talked about trends. Is this an increasing thing, or is it all over the map? Kind of.
It's kind of all over the map. I think it depends on the individuals involved. We have a lot of situations that could go this way, but they don't because the juvenile decides, well, I better pay attention to what the judge is telling me to do. You know what I mean? So occasionally, in these kind of instances, we have juveniles who just would not be compliant. They were completely ungovernable. So the judge just said, that's it. You're going to juvenile detention until we come back to court and figure out what we're going to do with you. So that's what happens most of the time is, the judge will, depending on which judge it is, one might have a case where a child is just, or a juvenile has continually been, displaying behaviors that are damaging to the community or dangerous to themselves or others. And they, give them a couple chances, and depending on the mood of the judge sometimes, or what a juvenile might say in a courtroom, that could have some determining factors, because sometimes they say some pretty terrible things in the court because they just don't care. And then they have to learn the hard way, so to speak. The other thing we're going to try to do is maybe utilize some alternative methods for juveniles who might be not necessarily dangerous, but flightless, like using ankle bracelet monitoring, something like that. So we'll try to step that up next year, see if we can work that into the equation. Obviously, probation has a lot to do with this, because these juveniles are referred to probation first before they come my way. Some of them don't come my way, but some of them do.
Is the training factor after they come back? Do you feel that we get?
It's really dependent on the individual. Sometimes these juveniles will do better. Sometimes they won't. You're talking about if they get placed in a state training school.
Yeah, if they're sent to, to where Oneida, and they come back, and then do you see a kind of a remarkable change in pattern, behavior, attitude?
A lot of times that takes quite a bit of time and work. When these juveniles come in, they've already been accustomed to behaving a certain way without any impediments, so to speak. They're just free to do whatever they want. They don't have a lot of parental supervision, and in a lot of cases, sometimes they do, and they still get in trouble. But in a lot of cases, they're cases that may have come out of more of a neglect situation over years, where they're just not getting the guidance and structure they need to learn how to behave at least well enough to stay out of the court system.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Supervisor Bruno.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chris, this $930 a day on the bottom of this, that's a real number. That's what the county's charge?
Yeah.
$930 a day.
There's actually a couple of places that are a little more money. It was between 900 and about 1,000
Oh, I think,
a day.
I think Bob this morning gave us a daily rate was higher than that number there, Dan.
It might have been another facility. Yeah.
Thank you. No. Anyone else? I should point out that earlier today, that the probation director did in his discussion items included a short discussion about electronic monitoring devices, and looking at that
1,700
later on during the summer.
Oh, really? $320,000.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the request? I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Do you have any discussion items, Chris?
I just have one thing with the Youth Bureau. Susan Mowry has been appointed officially as the Director of Youth Bureau after Mike Gray's retirement. So I think most of you met her the last committee. She's very, very good to work with. very articulate, and will be a great great director, I'm sure.
Anything else? We'll move on to Julie's report. Good morning.
Good morning. Looking at our overtime report, we still have, it's pretty high. We have quite a few, new worker trainings going on, both in our, services unit, also in our fraud unit. They have a couple of new people, so the training on high. Keeping an eye on it, and hopefully, once you're through training, we can see it go down a little bit. We still have some people taking advantage of the comp time. So that helps, of course.
Right.
And then for revenue and expenditures, after the fifth month of the year, we're pretty much on target in both expenses and in revenue. I don't have any concerns at this time.
Any questions or comments for Julie? Any from the members of the public or the supervisors? Thank you very much. Amy, you're up. Good morning. You have one request, if you could walk us through that, please.
Yes, I'm requesting that we transfer funds from our part-time salaries, 120 into our overtime, or our 60/30 into the overtime. For $50,000. We, even though we are down in overtime from last year, we still have a tremendous amount of overtime. We hire staff. But retaining them seems to be very difficult. They end up going back into the private sector where they make more money. I've lost 3 employees in the last 4 months for that very reason. You get them trained, and then summer season opens and they're back out there in the workforce there. And also we have 6-7 staff members that work every holiday, and that's being at a minimum. That's only keeping 2 people per shift. 4 in the kitchen, which is the absolute minimal that the state will allow us to have in 4 hours for a cleaner. It eats up the overtime. This hopefully will keep us through 2023, and I won't need to come back and ask to move anymore.
Questions? Yeah, a motion, Mr. Tarasi, a second, Mr. McDevitt. Questions, comments for Amy? I will call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Thank you. Any other discussions for either Department of Services or Countryside Adult Home?
I have something else I'd like to.
Yes, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So right after agendas were due, New York State Department opened up their equal application. Probably many of you remember I come every year and ask officially if I can apply. So I brought with me the official numbers that is up for grabs. $3,266,000 is the local assistance, and that part of that funding is to directly impact the quality of life for the residents. So anything we can do, so like this year, we're buying a soft serve ice cream maker. I mean, who's not happy with ice cream? And then the other part of it is the same amount is a capital improvement project. So we ended up buying our walls for a renovation. We only got like $27,000 last year, but every little bit helps. So I'd like to apply for it, even though it's not officially on my agenda, and I can put it on for July. Okay, because it'll close before our next meeting.
Yeah, a motion to make that happen. Supervisor Tarasi and Supervisor Frazier on the second. Discussion or questions? So to be clear, we're recommending approval of this because doing so in July would be too late.
It closes July 12th.
Okay, okay. Pardon me?
So you're authorizing a grant application and subsequent agreement?
Yes. That's everyone's understanding?
Just to clarify this, it's just permission to apply for the grant and then
Exactly.
come back.
But we've been successful,
Yeah.
most every year in the past.
But we have, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But we have been writing these resolutions, so it authorizes the grant application and authorizes the chair to sign them, so you don't have to come back for the.
Okay, good. Yeah. There's no matching funds on this either.
Thanks, man. Okay. I will call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? So moved. Anything else, Amy?
Census is 26, as we all
Okay,
know,
yeah.
we had to keep the numbers down because of the renovation project, and we already discussed the.
And some of the Facebook postings of the work have been really.
It is impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we get moved over soon.
As well as the activities that go on at Countryside. I think that's very important, especially in recruitment of new residents. It's a pretty special place to.
That it is. We have a very long referral list,
Right.
when we actually can start admitting again.
Yep.
But yeah, it's gonna be a great place to live and work. I'm very excited for it.
Have a good afternoon. Thank you. Would be. Motion to adjourn. Okay. Thank you. All in favor? Great, thank you. Thank you, Mike.